Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the Love Football Zone. If you're just finishing your breakfast, please come over and join us. This morning we're going to be focusing on football and health, and I'm really delighted to welcome this morning the EFL Trust. If you're a big football fan like myself of a non-Premier League club, you'll be aware of some of the work that these clubs are doing across the country. I'll admit it, I'm a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, and I know what the community trust of Wolverhampton Wanderers means to the town. I'm also an ex-journalist, and I just think some of the work that's going on in our clubs, we need to raise awareness of this. So it's really important you guys come over and see what's happening and also spread the word. And finally, I should be doing much more exercise, so I'm really looking forward to hearing some of the programmes and welcoming some of the speakers today. To begin with, I want to welcome Mike Evans, who is Operations Director of the EFL Trust. Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
Can we hear you okay?
Can you hear me okay?
Good stuff.
Sounds like we're good to go.
Yeah. So Mike, tell me a little bit about what is the EFL Trust and its origins and when it started.
The EFL Trust is essentially the charity of the EFL. It was set up in 2007 with initially a grant from the Premier League and the PFA to look at the community work that was being done across the 72 league clubs, to try and share best practice around the network, to try and professionalise what was happening in the network, and to shine a light on that work and try and promote it to a wider audience. From fairly humble beginnings with a team of 6 people, we've grown to a team of 38 people today, and expanded our range of national projects that we then deliver through that network.
Excellent. And you talk about that word professionalising services. I think possibly when people think about football and they think about charities, they think it's a nice idea. But what has really struck me over the last few years watching the work of the EFL Trust is you really are, first of all, serving a purpose in the community, but you are talking the language of health or education to those sectors outside of football, aren't you?
Yeah, very much so. The sort of traditional view, I suppose, of football in the community going back into the 80s was very much around coaching kids, essentially, football, working in schools, holiday clubs, that sort of activity. But for probably 25 and 30 years in some cases, some of the trusts at clubs have been doing much more hard-hitting work than that. A lot of work in disadvantaged communities, a lot of evening sessions, trying to prevent antisocial behaviour, health initiatives, education initiatives. And I think we've played a role. I don't want to take away the credit from the clubs themselves and the trust within clubs, which Helena will talk about later from Middlesbrough's perspective, because that's where all the ideas come from, that's where the good practice is. But we provide a national framework to bring that together, share best practice, implement standards around governance, health and safety, safeguarding. And then we also put tenders into government and to commercial partners, other third sector organisations to try and bring funding in to expand that work and deliver it in more locations. So we're only as good as our clubs. Our clubs are outstanding, and that makes our job a lot easier, I guess.
So very much one of the themes at Soccerex Football and Business Conference is about return on investment. So perhaps in this sector we talk about social return on investment.
Yeah. And you know, we're quite often tendering for work against large private companies, but also other charities, other third sector organisations. And if we weren't successfully delivering on the KPIs, so if we're asked to engage with 1,000 people on the programme, if we're asked to deliver an education programme and achieve a certain number of distinctions, if we're working on an employability programme and we have to get 90% of people into work, if we were failing to do those things, we wouldn't get recommissioned. But essentially, every time we deliver a project, we tend to be recommissioned because we're good at it. And centrally, again, it's our job to make sure that the trusts are hitting those KPIs. We have a team of project managers that go out and assist them with that. And we've been very successful. We've seen a 400% growth in turnover over the last 5 years. And we've constantly been recommissioned on the contracts that we have. And as I say, it's credit to the clubs, but I like to think that we've played a part in that as well, in making sure that it is done as professionally as it needs to be done to keep getting that work.
So, Mike, what would be the top of your wish list? Obviously, when we look internally with the clubs, it's fantastic the work's going on. I'm from a communications background. It struck me over the last 5 years, this is an amazing area that is growing community sport. We've had the DCMS strategy, December 2015, which is focused on social outcomes of sport. Seems to me that sport's changing a bit here, and guys like you are leading the way. What would be your ambition for the next 3 or 5 years to this way of thinking about sport?
Well, I mean, the DCMS strategy and then the Sport England strategy that followed it was just music to our ears, because they were talking a language that we've been talking for 8 years up to that point. It wasn't about the numbers participating in sport, it was about the benefit that participation was giving people. So we're here today to talk about health and the health benefits of sport, but it's actually engaging people who are disengaged from mainstream education, and not seeing them just get through their BTEC programs, but then go on to university, scholarships abroad. You know, we're taking young people quite often from a place where mainstream school either isn't for them or has let them down, and we're actually taking them to a place where they're extremely employable, quite often coming back to work in our network, but if not there, in other sports development sort of networks. So we're extremely proud, and I think going back to what you said about the DCMS and the strategy, you know, that they are the outcomes that we're looking to achieve. So we're working very closely with Sport England now and trying to become part of that delivery network for them.
Excellent. And one last question for you, Mike. Obviously, we have one of your corporate supporters here today, sponsors. I guess this is a great area for investment for people looking to fund meaningful sport projects.
Yeah, we don't have a wide portfolio of commercial partners, but we have an extremely important relationship with Ferrero, and it's built on their CSR outlook as an organisation and our values as an organisation, and those two things are intrinsically linked, and that's what makes our relationship and the project we're going to discuss today so successful. I think it'd be easy for us to go out and chase other, you know, lots and lots of different commercial partners, and I'm sure we could do that. But you know, whilst we're always looking, we're always ready to engage. It has to be the right partner for us, and in the case of Ferrero, we've got a fantastic relationship, which I think Ben will talk about.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Mike. And maybe some of the clubs would be like to talk to some more sponsors, perhaps Helena later on, and talk about that. But thank you, Mike. Next, I want to introduce Adrian Bradley, who's Head of Sport and Health. Our focus in this area today is specifically about health. So, Adrian, you're going to run us through some of the programs today, I believe, and some of the videos. Some of the videos, specifically some case studies. Few questions for you. The Trust and the Club Community Trust have a proud record of community work, but what role and responsibility do you feel the network has in promoting public health?
Public health has become one of our key strategic themes in the last 12 to 18 months, and we've got a very big ambition for that, because frankly we in the society in the UK have got a very big challenge ahead of us. There are all sorts of societal pressures, there are growing numbers of people living to older years with various limiting long-term conditions, etc., which are putting great pressure on the NHS and on social care systems. And going back to Mike's point of the social outcomes from Sport England relationship, we're very much about using the leverage that we have in encouraging people to be active, but also their interest and their passion for something like football, to switch them on and to engage them in ways that perhaps other parts of society might not be able to reach them. So we're very aware of the policy context in which we operate, but we've got a very significant audience of our own that we can reach and we can improve the health of. So our audience is about 1 million people, I suppose, who actively engage with either watching or following football in an active way on a regular basis. But we're aware that not enough of them are physically active and are actually taking part in sport themselves. So our core audience are there for us really to work with, and I know guys like Man vs Fat will be talking more about that sort of work later this morning. We've got really quite extraordinary reach at our disposal. So we've got about 1 million people on a database, for example, that would give us the opportunity to reach. And very often the people who follow football are the sorts of people who won't go and see their GP. They're the sorts of people who are reluctant to engage with healthcare systems. So the sorts of work that we do to get out there and switch people on to messaging, is really very important. And we have to accept and recognise that we are an ageing population, and one of the big health issues of our age is the number of people who are living, for example, with something like dementia. So there are 850,000 people now, and there'll be 1 million in the next couple of years or so. But a number of our club trusts are doing some really significant work on that agenda, for example, and we've got a short film that will illustrate that.
My husband's got Alzheimer's. He's been diagnosed about 2 years now. We heard about the group. He just loves it. We've met a lot of new people, lots of new friends, and we've got other people to talk to that are in the same position as us. He just can't remember things now, so we come in and we see all the trophies, and that brings back all the memories for him that he had when he used to come up to Pompey regularly. It's a lifeline for us, really, both of us. Pompey in the community does so much for us. They'll always be sympathetic if you've got problems, and you've always got somebody to talk to.
So we're about recognising that, as Mike was saying, football in the community schemes really began with coaching juniors and engaging children and young people. But we've got a whole generation or generations out there that might have had a relationship with their football team for 50 or 60 years. And the power of that is really significant. So we will, in the next 6 months, be launching a national programme that is about using the attraction of football to bring older people together, retired people together, to do things that they want to do, to engage, to socially connect, and to be more physically active as well.
Okay, and very last point on that, you've mentioned specifically some target groups that perhaps have been neglected before.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great strength of our 72 community trusts is they know their local communities. So Helena will know the catchment that is covered by the Middlesbrough Foundation in incredible detail, much more so than any national organisation or agency can. And it's that bottom-up approach that is so important. So we're about providing a layer of national strategic added value, I hope, to that. But it's about our 72 really getting to grips with the key issues that exist within their communities.
Excellent, and we'll hear from Helena from Middlesbrough Foundation very shortly. So, Adrian, what can you do to change people's behaviour?
Well, that's the crucial thing. Let me just do a quick experiment. Is everyone up for a bit of physical activity? Right. I want you to stand up.
This is why I'm already standing, by the way.
Stand up and continue to stand if you kind of know that physical activity is good for you.
Come on. You should know.
So I want you to keep standing if you consider yourself to be active. Oh, I think we're just about bucking the national trend there. I want you to carry on standing, though, if you think actually I should be doing a bit more. Oh, we've got someone has sat down. Keep standing if you know how much physical activity you should be doing to improve your health. Okay.
If you're staying standing, we might come and ask, be careful. Right?
Finally, keep standing if you are actually doing the 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week that the government suggests that you should. Every week.
Can you define moderate for us, Adrian?
Yeah, it's compulsory. Okay, thank you. That is just by way, there, thanks. Of illustrating that there have been decades in this country now of public health campaigns actually preaching to people, telling people what they should do, almost scaring people, and that is worked in certain fields, perhaps with smoking cessation, etc. People have heard the messages by now, but hearing them, digesting them, and actually doing anything about it are completely different things. And I think that's where the sector is at the moment, and that's where Sport England, for example, have got to, in that campaigns are one thing, but those interventions that actually work are something else. And changing people's lifestyles and behaviours, not over a course of a few weeks or a couple of months, but sustaining that over a considerable period of time are the key challenge, and that's what we're in the business of trying to achieve.
Yeah, that rings a lot of bells, what you're saying there. So what are the main challenges you face, Adrian?
Well, from our perspective, it's playing a significant role in the public health of the areas that we cover in England and Wales. And that means hitting government agendas and hitting NHS agendas. And going back to that feeling, that concept of needing to change behaviour, that is a key challenge for us in our interventions. And we talked about social return on investment. If we're actually achieving what we set out to achieve, something will be different at the end of it. We will have made a difference to an individual and therefore to a group and a collective and a community. So not just delivering programs and walking away and saying, well, that was really good, everybody enjoyed it, but actually inspiring the sort of change in lifestyles and patterns of behaviour that are going to make a difference to people's health. So that's a really significant challenge. Secondly, and it's a big challenge for those of us who work in sport, is actually not just to design something and throw it at people, because we've been very good at doing that in years gone by, particularly in junior development. We create a program and it's a one-size-fits-all program and we deliver it and it works or it doesn't. But actually building programs and interventions around the needs, the aspirations, the preferences, the demands of individual people so that they are tailored and they're likely to be more successful. So doing that at scale is not easy and is a huge challenge, but we've got examples of that happening across our network, and we'll be wanting to see more examples of that in the future. And thirdly, it's about going back to that chestnut of delivering outcomes, and where our trusts and foundations have been successful in being commissioned by health agencies, by clinical commissioning groups, for example, is that they've been able to prove they're making a difference, and they're doing it in a cost-effective way. So they're achieving the maximum amount of benefit for the people who most need it for the least amount of money, and it's as simple and yet as difficult as that.
So within the reach you have, what do you think you can achieve in reaching people who don't engage with NHS primary care services?
I mean, I'd point to some examples. There's a fantastic programme in Newcastle, which involves delivering the NHS health check, which anyone between the age of 40 and 74 are eligible for in this country. But very few people, comparatively, are actually taking up that offer, particularly the type of men who watch football matches, for example. And what the Newcastle Foundation have managed to do is be contracted to deliver that, and they take that as a roadshow and as a health MOT out into all sorts of unlikely places, and are reaching people who, in the main, are inactive and who could really benefit from what the Newcastle Foundation have got to offer. In other situations, we've got clubs and trusts who've engaged, for example, in screening processes and systems. So we've got a short film that demonstrates what Burton Albion have been doing to test men for prostate cancer.
There are men out there who would not go to a GP but will come to the football ground because the football ground is something they know and it's part of their life.
In total, we tested around 130 men over the age of 50, and 11 of those in total were diagnosed with prostate cancer.
I went in, had my blood test, and I had what's classified as an aggressive cancer. So the whole prostate was taken out by open surgery. And then I had a 6 months wait until a fortnight ago, where the consultant's registrar said, "You're cured." Without Burton Albion, I don't know how many years I might have had left or how far it would have spread. I was very lucky.
Excellent. Just quickly to some of the guys at the back, I think it's very admirable that you're not sitting down. Obviously, we're not supposed to do that, but Blue, do please come and join us if you want to. Adrian, what extent are the Trust and your club trust working to improve people's health?
There's a broad range of programmes and ideas and initiatives that our clubs are engaged with. There's an awful lot of really exciting and innovative work. There's a lot of work going on in the weight management and lifestyle management sphere, and you're going to hear some of that from colleagues over at Man vs Fat. But there are also a range of specific tailored programmes that we see in a number of places that we'd really like to expand and see in a lot more. So, for example, an exciting partnership with Macmillan Cancer Support, which is happening in a number of places, including in Nottingham, that is providing cancer rehabilitation programmes through the Club Trust and reaching people in new ways that really need it. And we've got, again, a very short film that just sort of illustrates the kind of impact that that programme is having.
My name's Suzanne. I'm first diagnosed with cancer in 2007, breast cancer, where I had a tumour removed. And then I had 6 lots of chemotherapy, 40 lots of radiotherapy. And then after that, unfortunately, last year it came back. This time I've had a full breast removal, surgery again, another 5 lots of chemotherapy and another 40 lots of radiotherapy. First time I had chemotherapy, I had major problems with this arm. And then I spoke to my cancer nurse who put me on to Rob. I didn't know anything about the Csr Program, must admit. This is just amazing. I turned up to see Rob, took me around, showed me everywhere around, and just felt as though I could come whenever I want. I feel totally invigorated, total use in this arm now. Okay, I've broken this one. That's another story. But yeah, I feel so energised. I feel like I can get up and face the world now. It's brilliant. In Csr, there's lots of ladies like myself, and Csr brings us together as a group, and we've all got different abilities, but we all just do what we can do and help each other along. And the Csr team are lovely. They're very supportive, and they're always on hand. I didn't even know that Csr was anything to do with football or Portland Leisure Centre or anything like that. So yes, and I do promote it as often as I can, because I don't think many cancer patients are aware it's available. I probably describe the Csr Program in 2 words and say it's been life-changing.
And we've got many stories and testimonies and examples and case studies that sort of illustrate that kind of personal impact that we have. So we're very much about having an impact right through from public health messaging to millions of people, through to preventative programs that induce and create a good, healthy lifestyle, to then those very specific interventions for people who really need it. And we're also very aware that this isn't just about physical health, it's also about mental health and well-being as well. And a number of our club trusts are doing some really sterling work in that sphere as well, and doing programs that are really having a positive impact on people's mental health. And again, we've got a very short film that talks about some of the work that is happening again in Nottingham.
I'm Danny. I enjoy football. I'm really passionate about it. My health condition is schizophrenia, but there's a massive question mark over it. They're looking at BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, PTSD, and ADHD. My moods fluctuate rapidly. It's like a roller coaster. Every day is like a roller coaster. I put on 10 stone in 8 months, which I've currently lost. I was attracted to On the Ball because of football. It's as simple as that. But I found, once I was there, camaraderie, friendships, and they're a good bunch of lads. On the Ball has helped me get involved in fitness and live a healthier lifestyle. It's helped me achieve my level 1 coaching, level 2 sports leaders, and first aid gave me the confidence to get up and go, which the medication took away.
My name's Helen. I've been a musician from a young age. I suffer from ADHD, which led to a breakdown. I wasn't diagnosed till I was 20, and that's really late for ADHD. I just picked up a load of leaflets, and Right Mind happened to be one of them, but I didn't know what it was or anything. I just like thought, whoa, might as well give it a go. Start off either in the gym or just for like 10 minutes or something, just so people can get themselves into gear. Or sometimes, like lately, we start doing more things that get people engaged, like socially and mentally, like team games and things like that are fun. People might not realise they're doing exercise because there's a wide range of ages and abilities, and everyone respects all of that. Now that I'll be giving a voice, being able to give a voice to mental health awareness, and like now I'm actually can say that I'm having fun and that I'm happy, and I just hadn't had that. I describe the programme as life-saving.
So we've got people there using terms like life-changing and even life-saving, which is, you know, quite humbling, and it's testimony to the really hard work that people like Notts County are doing. So in summary, we're all about creating an offer, we hope, which has the ability to reach people from very early years right through to their later lives. And we're very keen that at various touch points through people's lives, their connection and their interest in football, you know, galvanises their ability to get involved, and that we can use that to have a very positive impact. So we've talked there about some very sort of specific programs that I suppose are quite defined and are working with quite small numbers of people, but we also have at the other end of the spectrum some national programs that are reaching tens of thousands. And it's a great delight to have Ben here from Ferrero to talk about our relationship about the Plus Sport Move and Learn program, which is literally reaching tens of thousands of children each year in primary schools.
Excellent. And before I hand over to Ben, I think really moving case studies there. And sometimes in the world of football, we get lost in all the big stories. I just think when you're watching some of those videos, they're very, very powerful. So can I just have a quick round of applause for Mike and Adrian, please?
Yeah, well, I don't mind.
So as Adrian said there, really delighted to welcome one of the Football League's key partners, Ben Fell, Head of PR for Ferrero UK. Over to you, Ben.
Stand here. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. As he said, my name's Ben Fell. I'm Head of PR for Ferrero UK. I'd like to talk to you very briefly about our great relationship with the English Football League Trust and some of the work that we do. Normally when I say I work for Ferrero, people are kind of like, oh, who are they? Normally people jump to Ferrero Rocher. I normally work for Ferrero Rocher. But actually Ferrero is a much bigger company than just Ferrero Rocher. So here are some examples of some of the brands that we own and that we manage globally. So you'll see some internationally recognised brands like Nutella, Tic Tac, British brand like Thornton's, Kinder. There's a big portfolio. So we're a big company. But you may wonder, why is a Ferrero chocolate company coming to present at a football show? The reason is that we have a responsibility as a confectionery brand and as a confectionery company to do the right thing. And as part of that, we have very strong CSR commitments. So we have 3 nutritional principles. And our nutritional principles are these. And the first is it's important to have a balanced diet. We believe that there's no such thing as good or bad foods. There's only good or bad diets. The second is that it's important to eat in moderate quantities. So as a company, as a confectionery brand, we really honour that principle. So our products, 95% of them come in under 150 calories. And the third part, which is why we're really here today, is to talk around why it's important to be physically active. So that's where Kinder Plus Sport comes in. So this is our flagship international CSR program. It's an international program that now reaches 5 million children a year in 25 countries. So it has grown to a huge level. And what's most impressive about it is that it reaches schools. So at least one school in every country in which Kinder Plus Sport is operated is activated within a school. And each country has its programme tailored to its individual needs. So for example, in Italy, we work with the Italian Olympic Committee. In Germany, we work with the German Basketball Association, whichever partnership is best set up and suited to our needs. And in the UK, we work with the English Football League Trust. And I'm very proud to say that we're now moving into our 4th year with the English Football League Trust. And genuinely, we could not ask for a better partner. The work that the guys do, as you'll have just seen, is absolutely fantastic. And this is something that we've built together, so it really is a programme that we have nurtured and developed over time. Initially, when we started, we only had one club, which was Watford Football Club. And we delivered a pilot programme with them, which delivered over 32,000 hours of learning for children in schools. But you see now we're up to 30 clubs, and every year we're growing. So every year we're becoming bigger and better, and we're getting more children active and into the programme. And we think our programme is unique. So what we've developed with the English Football League Trust really is unique, because it doesn't just focus on getting kids active, but it also educates children around the importance of nutrition and understanding the role of nutrition. And we're very proud of what we've achieved so far. So the feedback that we get from schools, from teachers and from parents is really strong. Here you'll see some of the stats. So the teachers say that 97% would recommend the Move and Learn programme. 97% felt children had a better understanding of the importance of physical activity. 96% felt children had a more positive attitude towards nutrition. So you can see some of the great stats that are coming out from the schools. And the children themselves are being really positive as well. So 94% saying, how do you feel about trying new foods? They're more positive. And I know as a parent, that's something that I love to kind of be able to add. And then 98% say, how do you feel about exercising? They're much more positive. So we're really having an impact for now and an impact on children's long-term futures. And we always say when we talk about the programme that it's really important to do the maths. So we know that there's a problem in our country. We know that in the UK there is an issue, and as a confectionery brand, as a confectionery manufacturer, we have a responsibility to play our part. So the issue, as we see it, is there is a sedentary lifestyle problem in the UK. And sedentary lifestyles do lead to obesity. And as I was saying earlier, we believe there is a solution. And the solution is that if you have a balanced diet and you eat in moderation and you do regular physical activity, then we can provide a solution to the problem. The added benefit, of course, if you encompass and if you participate in those 3 areas, is physical activity and fun together means we have confident and happy children. And so what we bring to it is we bring our funding, so we bring our programme with the English Football League Trust, and we support schools to deliver the exercise that's needed. And here's some of the stats to celebrate the programme so far. So we're now working with 30 clubs, 200,000 children that we've reached, 800,000 hours, and as part of the programme to really inspire children, the clubs such as Middlesbrough do a fantastic job of going into schools and really inspiring the children with player visits. And here you can see the reach and how it's growing from 1 club to 11 clubs to 18, 26 and now up to 30. And we're reaching the areas where the country most needs it. So that's how we select our partners, based on that need. The programme, as we were saying, it's in 2 parts. So you've got a 45-minute classroom learning session. So we have specially dedicated created materials that talk about exercise and fitness, the body, health and nutrition, and hydration. And then there's a second part where the coaches from the different club trusts get out onto the field and they educate children around the importance of being active in a fun, engaging and inspiring way, using football and other sports such as handball and dodgeball. And here's an example of some of the classroom materials so you can see how dedicated and specialist they are. But what you might also notice about these materials is that there's no branding on them. Because our programme isn't a marketing exercise. It's not about getting into schools and delivering a marketing exercise. Quite frankly, we don't want the children to know about our programme that it's from Ferrero. It's our CSR commitment and it's about doing the right thing. So you'll see it's totally unbranded. There's no link to Ferrero. There's no link to our brands. But we don't stop here. And next year we want to be even bigger and better. More clubs, more children reached, more hours in the classroom. So the Move and Learn programme will grow. And we also work with the English Football League Trust on futsal, a fantastic program, and also on a new concept that I'd like to briefly introduce to you called the Joy of Moving Festivals. So the Joy of Moving is an international idea that has been created over the past couple of years. And it educates children around the role of activity and how important it is around fun and play for the long term. And it's been a long project of investment of time and investment of money for us to get to this point. We participated in a 3-year project in Italy with 1,000 children who we monitored and tried and tested many different games and activities to come to the best solution that we could. And we invested with Rome University and also with the Italian Olympic Committee to generate the program. But to bring it to life, I really couldn't do. So I'm going to show you a video to show you that. Okay, so that's it from me. That's our program. I hope that gives a good introduction to what we do. But really, the program wouldn't be possible, of course, without the English Football League Trust. And I'm very pleased to kind of introduce Helena from Middlesbrough Football League Club Trust to now talk about the program and her relationship with the EFLT.
Excellent, thank you, Ben. I think that point about physical literacy in young people is enormous. I've got 3 kids, and they spend a lot of time on their tablets and screens. So do I, but I'm past helping. But it really is a ticking time bomb, isn't it? And it's something that we really need to showcase. So well done to EFL Trust and Ferrero. So as you said, Ben, over to delighted to welcome now Helena Bowman, Head of Foundation for Middlesbrough, and I know the guys talked very much about the Trust provides a framework, some national programs, but it's really great to hear from you, Helena, at the sort of sharp end of delivery. Please tell us about the foundation and in broad terms what you do.
So the foundation is an independent charity of the football club. So we are the official charity, but we are a completely separate entity. So we fundraise ourselves, we write grant applications ourselves. We're not a department of the football club, we are separate. However, the key to what we do is that we have the power of the football club badge behind us. So everything you see in terms of everything we deliver will be branded with Middlesbrough Football Club's badge, and it's that badge which is the key to engaging the people in the community. So as discussed previously, we may have a group of men coming to the Riverside Stadium to do what in essence is similar to Weight Watchers. It's a healthy eating education course. It's all about weight loss. Those men will not attend Weight Watchers, or they potentially may not go to the doctors about other factors, but they will engage with MFC Foundation, and they'll come through the doors of the Riverside Stadium because they know and trust that brand of football, and that's what they believe in. So they trust us to deliver the right messages to them. So we deliver in the community to raise aspirations of young people and adults, and that is across health, sport, education and social inclusion. So the most hard to reach people within Middlesbrough and the Tees Valley, we will use the brand of the football club to engage with them and to change their lives.
It's a really powerful intervention, isn't it? When you talk about health, one of your key themes, can you give some examples of why delivering key health messages is so important as the foundation, as a charity?
Yeah, so we deliver a wide range of health programmes, from the Move and Learn programme up to working with adults, males who are obese or overweight. Middlesbrough itself has a lot of health issues. Middlesbrough as a town it's small, it has 140,000 people in it, it's a 5 by 8 mile radius, and out of the 21 wards in Middlesbrough, 16 are the most deprived wards, are in the top 10% of deprived wards in the country. So that gives you a bit of an idea of the makeup of Middlesbrough, which I don't really like saying because it portrays a bit of a negative viewpoint on Middlesbrough because there's so many good factors, but health-wise, there is a lot of inequalities there. Within that 5 by 8 mile radius, at the top of the hill, your life expectancy as a man or a woman is just under 80. At the top of the hill, 3 miles down, your life expectancy is 12 years younger because the health inequalities within Middlesbrough are so diverse, and there's some really, really deprived areas. So having programmes on health which focus on preventative measures or interventions really can help change that kind of statistic.
Fantastic. And when we focus on Move and Learn, can you tell us a bit more about the project and how long you've been delivering it for?
Yeah, so we were one of the, apart from Watford, who were the original deliverers, we were one of the first 6, I think, who came on board 3 years ago. So each year we engage 1,800 primary school children, predominantly or mainly in Key Stage 2, so year 5 and 6. Again, in Middlesbrough, 21% of year 6 children are obese, and 30% of them live in poverty. So to have a programme which we can deliver preventative measures and talk about health and sport, but also try to change or create a mindset, because at that age a mindset is not fully developed. If you deliver this programme to 15 and 16-year-olds, they would already be in a way of living in terms of what they eat and nutrition and how their physical activity. But if we can get in there early and actually create a mindset on how they should live healthy lifestyles, then that's really important to us.
So what's the impact been of the Move and Learn programme on the individuals you're delivering to?
So as I said, we've engaged 1,800 people per year, so over 5,000 people roughly over the lifespan of this, thanks to Ferrero and the EFLT. But it's not just about numbers, so anyone could engage that many people. That doesn't mean it's a quality product. But you have case studies of young people who have gone through this programme who have, at the beginning, we do a questionnaire at the beginning and the end, and they will talk about their health and how they may go to McDonald's every week in their questionnaire, and then at the end they will actually recognise, or they will have started thinking about the impact of that, because they may not have even recognised it. It's just a way of life for them. And when you start discussing health and nutrition and physical activity and the importance of it, then if you do the questionnaire after the 6-week programme, you can see the responses and how they now think, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that as often, or I'm going to start trying new foods, or most importantly, they try and get their parents on board, which is the most important thing, because it's the parents who set that lifestyle for them. So if they can engage their parents, and if we can engage their parents as well to change their lifestyles, then that's where the difference starts to happen.
So that's back to what Adrian was saying earlier on about we can do all the campaigns we want, but it's actually, is the implementation, is the intervention effective? And it's that change in mindset that you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So are there any other wider health issues this programme supports?
I think in general, when I talk about mindset change, that's really important. Again, we've talked about nutrition and physical activity, but there are so many other health sort of statistics which we could talk about, which are poor in certain areas of Middlesbrough. I think doing a programme like this and just getting young people thinking about nutrition and exercise then hopefully will dictate their lifestyle and how they live it. So if we talk about people who are older with maybe type 2 diabetes later on in life, you would hope a preventative programme like this and changing and setting a mindset at this age would hopefully along the years prevent higher numbers of diabetes, for example. So it's about educating and preventing whilst they're young, so they hopefully live a healthy lifestyle in the future.
And presumably it's more difficult to measure the impact of that if it's long term, which is great that the football club's hopefully going to be here in those years to come and still doing it.
Yeah, so we will work with people with diabetes. The Newcastle example is a brilliant one. There's many examples across football clubs of people working with people with dementia, type 2 diabetes, overweight males, females, that kind of thing. So as long as we have a programme available at most stages of someone's life that people can access at any time, then hopefully we're reaching everyone that we can possibly reach or who are in need.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Helena. That's all we've got time for now, unfortunately, because you can probably tell I could stand here and talk about it all day. Last word really to Mike, before I say thank you, is that to me, the Football League, as this network of clubs in our communities, this is a large part of what the Football League is about, back to its origins and traditions, isn't it? Serving the local community.
Yeah, it absolutely is. If you look at the origin of most football clubs, where they came from, a lot were founded by local churches or other sort of community groups. And you said it before yourself, Simon, that football's got away from that a little bit. The stories that the media want to tell are not usually about that community engagement anymore. They're usually about the superstar players, the transfers, the wages, etc. So we've got a big job to do to cut through that. When we looked at our organisation, we did a strategic review 12 months ago. Our trusts and clubs like Middlesbrough came to us and said it's up to us as the national organisation to provide that platform. We've got to help the clubs at the local level cut through that and get the message out. So we were delighted last week, for example, to host a visit to Middlesbrough, to our Community Club of the Year with Henry Winter from the Times. And he's got enough material in an afternoon to write a book. And we didn't lay on any special activity. It was just what was being delivered there on a normal Tuesday afternoon. So it's going on all over the country, and it's up to us and as the EFL Trust, and Helena will hold us to account with the other 71 and make sure that we do that for them.
And maybe the media could help a bit more, but I'm working on that. So just before I say thanks to the guys, Man v Fat Football are going to be presenting in 5 minutes, so please do hang around, come and see what those guys are doing. It's another incredible story happening across the country. But finally, just to say thanks so much to Mike and Adrian from the EFL Trust, Ben from Ferrero, and Helena from Middlesbrough Foundation. Thank you very much.